First story. Absentee bio mom came back to break up their daughter's bonds with stepmom and dad with lies. But it didn't go well. To give you a little bit of context, I'm the stepmom 30 years old taking care of my partner's daughter. I've known her since she was 5, and now she's turning 13. She calls me mommy and introduces me as her mom to her friends. Now there's the birth mother. She's living overseas and barely communicates with the kid. There was even a point where they didn't speak for 2 years because she didn't call. The last time she went to see her daughter was in 2019. She was here for 2 weeks, but only spent 1 week with the kid, and the other 1 week was spent sightseeing with her friends. In short, she's an absentee. My SD opened up to me, saying that she doesn't want to communicate with her BM because she feels like she's a stranger to her. 3 months ago, I helped my SD open up to her BM about how she feels, and that it's going to help improve their relationship if the BM is aware of what's going on. The BM was replying for a week or 2, then became dormant again for 3 months. The next chat my SD got was with the BM, asking to meet up with her because she's coming back to the country for a visit. Now we asked my SD how she feels about it, and she said she doesn't want to meet her BM. She was bawling her eyes out because she doesn't want to go, but she also feels bad about feeling that way. I feel like I could still convince her to go if I wanted to, and she'll listen to me, but I also think that for so long, she's the one that's always adjusting for the BM. She can't do anything if the BM hasn't communicated all these years, and if she remembers to chat, SD is always expected to reply. I think it's unfair on her part since it's supposed to be the BM's obligation and responsibility to have good communication with her daughter. What should I do? Edit. For those asking, where's her dad in all of this? His POV is a bit different. He thinks that SD should give it a try at least once, so that she can get her questions answered as to why her BM is like that and get closure. But he also thinks that if SD doesn't really want to do it, he won't force the issue and tell the BM what SD really wants. Relevant comments. The Bear of Wisdom. NTA. I'd say the kiddo is old enough to decide for herself. She's having huge emotions about it, and she's only a kid, so she doesn't know how to handle that yet. All you can do is what you are doing, by supporting her decision and helping her with her distress. There were times where my stepmother had to stand up for me when I didn't want to go home. She always said, I won't just let them leave knowing they're miserable. If they want to stay, they can stay as long as they want. I didn't live with my dad's family, but when I really needed a break from my abuser, it was my stepmother who made sure I knew I didn't have to leave. This situation is really difficult because what kid doesn't want their mom to just be their mom for once? She's still young, and this has to be really hard for her to understand. Just make sure she knows she's safe with you, and you'll listen to her no matter what she needs to say. Poor kid. I feel so bad for her. OP. Everyone in the family keeps on telling me to convince her otherwise because she's still her mother after all. And I don't agree with that. This reaction is the result of all the years of neglect she's done to my SD, and I won't force her to do anything she wouldn't want to do. She was crying last night, and my heart has been crushed a million times seeing her like that. Farrah Kilda. She is 13 and says that her BM feels like a stranger to her. Is the BM mentally ill? Was there family violence in the relationship with her BM and father? She seems to be asking you if it is okay to feel weird about this, and you have supported her. Maybe it is time to speak to a professional and have your SD talk as well. Be supportive. Be there. But she is the BM, and the child is only 13. She has a long way to go, and you both have adolescence to navigate. She calls you mom and considers you her mother. Have you adopted her legally? That might help her as well, if the BM is so absent. OP. As far as I'm aware, the BM doesn't have any mental issues, and there has never been violence between my husband and her when they were together. They parted ways when my SD was just 2 years old. If I could adopt her, I would, but it would be a stretch too far, and I want her to decide that for herself, if that's what she wants. In my country, adoption is a bit of a difficult process. Update. This is an update with a little bit of a rant. So my SD has made up her mind that she won't go. We asked her to at least message the BM that she couldn't go and the reason behind it. This is what she said. Hello. I just want to let you know that I won't be able to meet you because I don't want to go. I mean, Papa and Mommy already told me that it's better if I go and talk to you, but I feel that I'm not ready to see you yet. She was nervous to send that and wanted to say sorry for not going. But I told her that she shouldn't apologize for saying no, and that it's okay. Then, after a few hours, the BM responds. I understand. It's like we haven't seen each other for so long, and then I'll show up out of the blue. I know it's going to be a little awkward, and there's mixed emotion, but I want you to know that no matter what happens, You're still my baby girl. You don't have many memories of me because I was already working while you were still a baby. We didn't have a choice back then because we had no money. And I couldn't work in your country because of the visa. I didn't want to be apart from you too. I didn't expect us to be like this. This is not what I want for you. And I'm sorry. I'm in your city this Saturday and Sunday. So in case you want to meet me, even for a brief moment, just message me. I will go to you. Just 10 to 30 minutes of your time would be enough. I just want to see and hug you. It's a decent reply, right? But for me, all I see is a little bit of gaslighting that she had to work for my SD, and no accountability that she didn't communicate with her daughter as she should. She's saying that my SD has no memories of her. Well, duh. In this generation of modern technology, where video calling is now possible, she's managed to not exist in her child's life. Also, she said that 10 to 30 minutes would be enough. I feel like she's just thinking about herself and what she would feel in that brief encounter. But she didn't consider how hurt my daughter would be. My husband, however, sees her reply as a humble response, and I don't. AITA for not being satisfied with her response on this. Edit. My husband clarified that he's not making any excuses for the BM. It's just that he has set his expectations of her so low that this response was decent enough for him. Relevant comments. Caroline Turpentine. NTA, she's asking for a bit much considering. She hasn't seen her kid in years and barely communicates with her. I'm glad she's respecting your SD's wishes, but maybe you should talk to her about starting smaller and exchanging messages to start with. Maybe moving up to video calling. Her timing is a bit suspect though. Why is she reaching out now? Just when her daughter is getting to the age where she understands she was abandoned and is able to articulate her feelings about it. I think your husband needs to ask further questions and find out if something else is going on. Is she ill? Getting married? Is she under family pressure to bring her daughter around? Why is this the first time she has returned home in years? I have a hard time believing she's just a contrite mother looking to reconnect, especially since she's pushing for even a brief meeting. I have a feeling it's for a photo opportunity. OP. A few months ago, I helped and urged my SD to open up to her BM about SD feeling like BM is a stranger. SD also said that she hopes they could slowly chat more often to get to know each other more. The BM was responding for a week or so, and then became dormant again for 3 months. The next chat she sent was asking my SD to meet up, because she'd be in the country or in our area for 2 days. They haven't seen each other since 2019, and all she can do for her child are those 2 days. This makes my blood boil, to be honest. Update 2. I had to calm down before I could post this one. After the last update, my husband and I agreed that we would honor whatever my SD wanted. I also asked him to relay my SD's reasons as to why she doesn't want to meet her BM. This is what we sent her. Hi. I just spoke with SD about you going here. It looks like she's having trouble expressing herself to you. I just want to relay what she said when we spoke with her. SD is in pain. She's angry and sad at the same time because she doesn't feel the motherly love from you. She feels like the reason you don't communicate much is because you don't want to deal with her. She wants you to communicate at least once a day. That's already enough for her. She's also tired of trying to fix the bridge between you two because you'll only respond for a bit and then become a ghost for a while. She thinks the relationship is beyond saving because you don't put in the effort to be close with her either. She's mad at all those broken promises you've made that you didn't fulfill. She's mad about all those special occasions that you never remembered to message her about. She's tired of feeling guilty because she's questioning herself about why she feels this way. She's tired of being neglected. I'm recommending she go and meet you so that those questions can be addressed. But if she doesn't really want to, I can't force her to do anything. Maybe try to address those above when you guys meet, or try to chat with her again. I hope you both can fix this. We sent that to her 3 days before she got here. She's seen the chat, but hasn't replied to my husband. She also didn't chat with SD again after that. Now here comes Sunday, and she said she just wants to drop off a package for SD. But SD said she didn't want to pick it up herself. So I told her dad to go outside and deal with it. After a few minutes, he went back and called SD to go outside with him. And when I checked the CCTV, SD was already being hugged by BM and was bawling her eyes out. I was furious. We already had an agreement that we would follow what SD wanted, and despite that, he still forced her to do it. To make matters worse, while SD and BM were hugging, in my daughter's most vulnerable state, BM's friend snapped pictures with the flash on, as if to capture the supposed intimate moment for both. To me, it looked like they were just there for photo ops and not really caring about how my SD would feel. After a few minutes, BM waved off, saying goodbye as if she'd just said goodbye to a friend. After this, I went to see my SD outside, and she said she's fine. She didn't realize how much she missed her BM and said she wanted to spend more time with her. I felt relieved to see that at least this encounter made her happy. The BM came back after a few minutes, and they walked around the area while chatting. Now this is where it gets juicy. Take note that my daughter told me all of this, and I'm not making anything up. Again, she's pretty open to me, and most of the time we talk like best friends. SD said that BM explained that the reason she was not communicating that much was because she's busy with work. Although SD said, I just didn't ask her why she couldn't take at least 5 minutes to chat with me. I still don't understand that part. SD also said that during their talk, a lot of negativity and blame were shifted to her dad. BM said that the dad was always leaving her alone and not helping her. SD's thought about this was, this doesn't sound like the father I grew up with. Papa is caring, loving, and thoughtful. He was never neglectful when I was growing up. And BM also said that the reason for their breakup was me. This is where she's literally digging her own grave. BM said that I was the third party in their relationship, and that she was so heartbroken that she had to move forward instead of continuing the relationship. What BM doesn't know is that I'm very honest with SD. Months prior, I told her about my previous relationship and what happened, so she knows that I didn't break anything. Hubby and BM had already broken up 3 years before I came to the scene. Since BM already opened that door, I'm more than allowed to defend myself. I explained to SD that it didn't make sense that hubby and I got into a relationship in July, and after 3 months, BM also got in a relationship with someone. If she was so heartbroken, why is it that fast? BM also claims that I'm not being nice to her. We barely had any interaction, and she blocked me after I tried to reach out to her about communicating with SD. SD said, she's disappointed that her BM lied to her face. She's old enough to know which is the truth and which is the lie. I told SD to just enjoy the time while BM is still here in the country, to cherish the moment, and to just get anything positive or good out of their conversations. I also added to not follow the bad examples she's seeing, and if her BM still talks badly about her dad, and she's not comfortable about it, she can speak up and call BM out. My husband and I talked about this, and if she keeps on insidiously spewing out negativity to our daughter, we might limit their interactions because of how she's talking to SD, which goes against all that we're teaching our daughter. Hubby apologized that he deviated from our agreement, but he said that it was a gamble that paid off since it made our daughter happy that she got to see her BM, and that she might have regretted it if she hadn't. BM is an second story. Family became furious at OP after he told his cousin that his fiancée was his cheating ex. So I am in a strange situation. For background, I used to date my ex-girlfriend Kate about 2 years ago. Our relationship ended on a sour note when I found out she was cheating on me. She became distant and glued to her phone, and eventually I caught her sexting another guy under a fake name. When I confronted her and asked her why, she brushed it off with a, since you know, it doesn't matter now, before walking away. It was a pretty SHT time of my life. Recently, my cousin Tony announced his engagement to Kate. Although we're not that close, we do keep in touch occasionally. I knew he had a girlfriend, but I had no idea he was dating Kate until their engagement announcement. Tony reached out to me, asking if I could photograph their wedding. It seems that's how Kate connected the dots and realized Tony and I are related. She sent me a text, pleading with me to let go of the past and not tell Tony about our history. According to her, revealing the truth would ruin Tony's life. Honestly, I wasn't going to talk about it, but her text felt very strange to me. But I feel very complicated about this. My sister and my girlfriend are saying that Tony deserves to know the truth. They believe it's unfair for him to enter a marriage without knowing Kate's history with me, as we are family. I've moved on from the relationship. It's been 2 years, and I don't want to dredge up old drama. Plus, there's the fear of backlash. What if Tony doesn't believe me? What if he blames me for ruining his happiness? Tony is a genuinely kind and caring person, and I don't want to hurt him. And then there's the rest of the family to consider. My mom and Aunt Tony's mom are extremely close, and I don't want to strain their relationship with this. But I also feel that if I were in Tony's shoes, I would want to know. It feels unfair to let him walk into a marriage blindfolded, especially if there's a chance he could be hurt the same way I was. And despite my suspicions about Kate's character, Tony is genuinely in love with her. So WIBTA if I tell him about Kate? Comments. LCDN. If I were him, I'd definitely want to know, especially since you're family. The fact that she said it would ruin his life is disconcerting. It's more likely that it would ruin her life. Here's a good way out of this for you. But your sister has to agree. Get your sister to tell him as if she's doing it of her own volition and you don't know anything. Because she's a woman, almost nobody in your family will blame her. She's just being a caring cousin or big sister for Tony. Plus, she agrees that Tony should know anyway. Either way, he should know before the marriage. Like you said, if he ends up getting cheated on once a cheater, always a cheater, you'll feel even worse for not speaking up. OP. Yeah, this is what we're going to do. My sister and I have been talking for the past hour and decided to meet with Tony in a couple days. We are going to tell him and show him the text Kate sent me. The Ghost Reborn. Tony is a genuinely kind and caring person, and I don't want to hurt him. Do you not want to hurt him? Or do you not want him to get hurt? Because you can be the cause of some pain for him now and save him a huge amount of pain later. Or you can stand back and let him get hurt on his own. If she had changed, if she was a good person now, she would have already told Tony everything. She's not. Save him. Update. 12 days later. I made the decision to talk to Tony about Kate, and unfortunately, it didn't go as smoothly as I hoped. My sister met with Tony first and told him about me and Kate. Tony then called me and asked to meet him. When I sat down with Tony and explained the situation, he told me that he was aware that Kate had cheated on her ex before, but he didn't know it was with me. He kept apologizing, saying he did not know, and I kept saying that it was not his fault. But he looked so angry during our conversation. Tony confronted Kate, and from what I heard, it wasn't pretty. Apparently she denied it at first, but eventually confessed. And I don't know what actually happened, but the police were involved. But there were no charges from what I know. Since our conversation, Tony has been distant from me. He's not talking to me, and I think he has blocked my number. I understand that, and I want to give him some space. But I feared this happening and feel very guilty about it. And to make matters worse, this leaked to the rest of the family, and my mom and aunt are furious with me for bringing up the past. They believe I acted out of spite, and that it was unnecessary to interfere in Tony and Kate's relationship. They've accused me of causing unnecessary drama and jeopardizing family unity. The rest of the family seems conflicted. Some are on my side, believing that Tony deserved to know the truth before getting married. Others think I overstepped, and that it wasn't my place to intervene. As for Kate, she has apparently reached out to Tony to do couples counseling, and Tony seemed open to it. Overall, this situation has caused more harm than good, and I can't help but feel guilty for how things have turned out, even though I feel that telling Tony the truth was the right thing to do. Comments. Dark mode knows wind. You did the right thing. Telling your cousin about Kate now was better than him finding out 10 years later. Porca pandas. And you know that when he found out, especially if Kate cheated on him, Tony would have been outraged that OP never said anything. You did the right thing, OP. Technocore. My mom and aunt are furious with me for bringing up the past. They believe I acted out of spite, and that it was unnecessary to interfere in Tony and Kate's relationship. What is it with older people who think being in a relationship is the end-all and be-all of happiness? Third story. OP's entitled family kicks her and her brother out, then demands she pay for her stepbrother's tuition. 9 years ago, when I 26F was 17 and my brother 19M was 10, our mother died after suffering for a long time due to chronic illness. Long story short, I got severe depression, and my dad remarried within a year. I got along with my stepmother and my stepbrother 18 quite well. My dad kicked me out on my 18th birthday, and my boyfriend took me in. I put myself through 4.5 years of college by having an almost full-time job. After graduation, I landed a management job with an insanely good salary and was able to pay off the rest of my college debt and save a decent amount. My brother is everything since he is all the family I have left. In August 2019, he told me our dad was kicking him out, and my boyfriend and I took him in to live with us on 3 conditions. Stay out of trouble, do some minor chores, and keep up the good grades. He followed these rules and even got a part-time job to help out with groceries. He and I had no contact with our dad the whole time, just occasionally with our stepbrother, whom we consider a friend. When he started college last summer, I said I would pay for it if he continued following the rules. He did, and I paid. I'm incredibly proud of him because he is only getting A's and doing really well. Somehow, my dad, stepbrother, and stepmother found out I was paying. My stepbrother is going to start college this summer, and they can't afford it without taking on a huge debt. So my stepmother called and asked, poking blank, if I would pay for my stepbrother too. I said no. I'm happy to pay for my brother, but I won't pay for my stepbrother. Since then, 4 days ago, this whole side of the family, including aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents, etc., has been calling me an arse for playing favors. I'm going crazy over it because they won't stop after multiple no's. AITA, edit. To answer if stepbrother still lives with them. Yes, he does. He turned 18 in mid-November 2020. Edit 2. The family calling me out now is all my dad or my stepmother. My mother has no family left. Also, I reached out to them after I kicked out, but they never answered. It's the first time they're reaching out to me. Update. A few hours after I posted this, I started to dig because I was wondering how they found out I was paying for my brother, since no one apart from me, my boyfriend, my brother, and my bank agent knew. It turns out a friend of my stepmother works in the administration office of the college, and she told my stepmother I was paying. I was furious, as this is a clear violation of confidential information, and I'm currently working with my lawyer to sue her for this. Now on to the real issue. Sort of after I posted, I reread the texts I got from my extended family. To me, they seemed off. Something was irritating me, and I figured out what exactly. It was the way they accused and blamed me that ticked it off. So I called in a Zoom meeting. It turns out that when my father kicked me out, they told them it was my choice to run away, and he is disappointed by his child. I was told the same story about my brother when he kicked him out too. That's why they never reached out to me. However, they had 9 years to do anything, and they never did, so they are out of my life. I booked them and don't want to hear from them again. As to my father, stepmother, and stepbrother, they called me again and again and again. I continued to say no, and after learning they lied to everyone, I didn't bother to answer their calls again. I blocked them after that. My brother and I decided to go completely out of contact with everyone from now on. I'm a bit sad that I won't be able to talk to my stepbrother. Like I said, we had a quite good relationship like friends. But he supported and agreed with my dad and stepmother's way of talking to me, so I see no point in investigating time in this relationship. I guess he was also just interested in the money, or he would have acted otherwise. They tried to blame me, saying that I'm responsible if my stepbrother doesn't get a good job. I just don't care. I had to manage it myself, and I didn't give a damn, so I'm not going to give in. My brother, boyfriend, and I are moving to another city 45 minutes away, next week anyway, planned for months now. So it has nothing to do with this, so I won't be likely to bump into them. We lived in the same city until now, and even though it's fairly big, there was always a chance of bumping into each other. I don't think they know it, and I'm not planning to tell them. If they find out, I don't care. To me, they don't exist from now on, and my boyfriend, my brother, and I will continue to live together as our little family. Also, because some people asked, my boyfriend has a big family, but they live on the other side of the world, so I have only seen them twice in the 10 years we have been together. Again, thank you so much for all your kind words. Edit to answer a few questions. I'm not in the US, and there is no family left on my mother's side. I had the chance to tell my extended family what really happened, but apart from 2 people, they didn't believe me. Maybe I will reconcile with my stepbrother sometime in the future, but right now I'm not in the right mind to do so. My brother and I are already in the process of completely cutting off my father, and we are creating wills and medical pocs in case something happens. It just takes some time, but my lawyer is working on it. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.